All right, then
Well, I knew somebody told me yesterday.
we're recording. Okay, then I'll ask again. But let me just start over. I will call the special meeting, Port Lavaca City Council to order on this Tuesday, September 5th, 2023 at 5:33 p.m. We'll skip the usual formalities and I will ask, is there anyone from the public here that wishes to speak before council on an item not on the agenda? Seeing none and none having signed up, we will move on. And into our action items. And action item number one is to conduct a public hearing on the 2023-2024 fiscal year budget. Susan?
Yes, sir, Mayor. In accordance with the state of Texas property tax code, comptroller's truth and taxation rules, and local government code and the city's charter, the city is required to hold a public hearing for the fiscal year 23-24 budget. On August 21st, City Council voted to set a public hearing on the 23-24 budget. City Council set the date and time for the public hearing on the budget for today, September 5th, 2023. Because the proposed tax rate exceeds the no new revenue rate, legislation considers it a tax increase and requires special language to accompany the notice of the public hearing on the budget. City has complied with the governing legislation and has published the notice of public hearing for the budget in the newspaper of general circulation, which is the Port Lavaca Wave, and on the city's website. This public hearing will provide an opportunity for taxpayers to express their views on the city's 23-24 annual budget. Only one public hearing is required and satisfies the requirements for later vote on the ordinance adopting an annual budget. No action is required at this time except open up the public hearing.
Well, now the time is 5:36. We'll hereby open the public hearing for comments on the 2023 fiscal year budget. The same people from the public that are out in the audience can now come forward and speak. None. Any comments from council?
I think it's necessary. I think the services that we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just. Should be able to see something to these.
That was a good budget. Very hard work put into it.
Well, council's had a couple workshops on it, so one.
Say Miss Lane, it's been another hard
Work on.
Oh, that's your city manager right there. She kind of, and all your department heads, so they all submitted everything and did a good job. Keeping it lean this year, so.
lean.
I like that.
Okay. Any other comments from council? Staff? If not, we will close the public hearing at 5:37. Since there's no one here to speak other than staff and council, and they have already spoken. Move on to agenda item number 2. Conduct a public hearing on the proposed 2023 tax rate.
So again, in accordance with the state of Texas property tax code, the comptroller's truth and taxation rules, the local government code, and the city's charter, the city is required to hold a public hearing on the 2023 tax rate. On August 21st, the city council took a record vote to propose a tax rate of 0.7807, which is less than previous year's tax rate, to be levied on properties within the city. Because the proposed tax rate exceeds the no new revenue rate, legislation considers it a tax increase and requires a public hearing. The city council set a date and time for the public hearing on the tax rate for September 5th, which is today. This public hearing will provide an opportunity for taxpayers to express their views on the tax increase as defined by legislation. Only one public hearing is required and satisfies the requirements for a later vote on the ordinance establishing a tax rate. No action is really required except opening up a public hearing now.
Right, and at this time, 5:39 PM, I will open the public hearing on the proposed 2023 tax rate and ask if there's anyone here to speak on the tax rate to come forward. Few seconds. Again, no one has stepped forward and there appears to be no one here to speak for council. I'll ask if there are any comments from council at this time.
I guess, the tax rate was set that morning that I was not here. Is that it?
Right.
Okay.
There was a little bit of controversy over it, but we set the tax rate.
Just below the voter approval tax rate. So and it's on the notices that are on the city's website and that have been published in the paper. The council members who voted for the proposal were Aguirre, Dent, Ward, Barr, and Padron. Mr. Tippett was absent. So, and that is reflected on the public notice of public hearing.
Yeah, it was so close, but we had the chief appraiser double check the figures and we're okay on that number. Okay, any other statements from staff or council? Okay, if not, there being no one here to speak on the issue, close the public hearing at 5:41 PM. And we will move on to agenda item number 3, consider first reading of an ordinance S-1-23 approving the annual budget of the city of Port Lavaca, Texas, and adopting the budget document for the fiscal year October 1st, 2023 through September 30th, 2024. Jody?
In accordance with the state of Texas property tax code, the comptroller of Texas truth and taxation rules, the local government code, and the city's charter, we prepared an ordinance that, if approved, meets the requirements as established by the governing legislation. The memo in your packet outlines all the various actions and notices that have been undertaken in accordance with the legislation towards approval of this budget. The budget that's before you here includes the changes that were recommended by City Council at the August 21st, 2023 workshop. And staff was recommending this to be approved by City Council. It contains a combined revenues of $23,627,553, followed by combined expenditures of $22,518,906, leaving combined fund balance reserves of $13,773,239. And the packet gives the motion that needs to be made because legislation does require specific language on the vote to adopt the budget.
This budget includes a compensation, employee compensation plan of 5%.
Yes.
Okay, and then what's the headcount increase?
Well, we'll do that before we have the second reading.
It does include the one position.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, it
That
does.
includes all of y'all's comments and
Everything that was from the workshop. Yes.
Okay.
But we will take official action on that prior to the second reading.
I appreciate
Well, we
that.
have to make a motion to approve first reading.
Yeah, at the bottom of the memo gives the,
Well, I move that the property tax rate be increased.
oh, wait.
No.
From the budget first here. So
Yeah.
Wait, where am I at then?
It's, I move to adopt the fiscal year.
Number-
2023.
It's the third item.
Page 12.
yeah, page 12.
Page 12.
Okay, I can make them too. I move to adopt the funding year 2023-2024 annual budget as presented by the city manager.
And this must be a record vote of each member of the governing body by name.
Aye. Or aye, Alan Tippett. Get a
We
second.
need a
I
second.
need a second.
Second. Okay.
Any other votes recorded? Do you want them to revote?
Aye, aye, Alan Tippett.
I, Jim Ward. Hey. Me.
Tim Dan votes in favor.
I.
Bart. Yay.
Daniel.
Sounded like cigar.
Okay, we need a vote on the adopting the document, or did that include it?
Yeah, that's that, so that was, the motion was to adopt the annual budget.
S-1-23.
Yes, as outlined in the ordinance, yes. S-1-23.
Sure, Andy has all that down.
That's number 4, right?
That's item 3.
Item 3. So that's what.
Yeah, item, I'm making sure everything on item 3 was done, and we're gonna move to item 4. Consider the first reading of an ordinance S-2-23, fixing the tax rate and tax levy for the city of Port Lavaca, Texas for the year 2023. Jody?
In your packet is an ordinance that approved meets the requirements as established by the governing legislation that will fix the tax rate and tax levy as we've discussed in the workshop and in the public hearing. Again, this requires some specific language for adoption. The memo outlines that the tax rate is split maintenance and operations into 0.6986 dollars, and interest in seeking debt is 0.0821.
So we're gonna have,
Is 0.7807.
yeah, we'll have 3 motions on this one.
Yeah, it's outlined on the bottom of pages 816.
About 3 seconds as well, right?
Yeah, because they're each gonna have to be a separate motion, and then we'll have to take a record vote.
Are we still on page 3?
On the first one, I believe, is just a record vote.
Page 6.
To adopt the maintenance operations rate of 0.6986.
Second.
That one does not have to be a record vote.
Okay, I move, so,
So you
Go ahead
just
with the
all in
vote.
favor.
Ready?
well,
It does have to be a record vote?
no.
That one does
But you
not.
still need a vote.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed, same sign. Opposed, motion passed.
All right, I move to adopt an interest in sinking rate of 0.0821.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And none opposed, motion passes.
And now we need to go back up and take the main one now, which does need to have a
Record.
So I move that the property tax rate be increased, although I believe that's correct language, but that's the way the state says we have to do it. Be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.7807, which is effectively a 13.23% increase in the tax rate.
Second.
And we have a motion and a second, and we need a voice vote. And we'll begin with Tim Dent.
And then I,
Bar, aye. Alan Tippett, aye.
Jim Ward. I.
Daniel Geary, aye. And the unanimous voice vote in favor. Motion passes. Done. Right? And I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn. Second it.
Motion and second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Friday. None of.
Second.
Hearing none opposed, motion passes. I was hoping we weren't gonna have a workshop.
Not bad, all.
So,
What?
I said, I was